I would actually choose not to engage with those thoughts and just move forward.
I usually kind of go like, well, fuck that person. Like, I didn't like them anyway. That's usually.
I'm sure Stevie's going to say that's the right way to handle it. Welcome, new people. You should know that we are never prepared. We are always wearing sweats. We're never wearing makeup.
I would almost consider myself the MC of this podcast. I am the narrator.
So welcome. We hope you enjoy this.
Today is an episode that it should just be coined the Sarah Foster episode.
You needed it.
Because, well, it's not even that I needed it. It's just me. Like, all I do is talk with Josh about my overthinking, my catastrophizing. You and I are the queens.
No, don't say you.
No, you're a part of this too. You go out all the time and then you come home and you spiral.
Oh,
whenever
you
do go out.
I do that. When I leave
Whenever
the house,
you do go out.
Any interaction I have, I come home and I'm like, why was I so weird? Why did I say that with that tone? And then I don't want to apologize to the person because then it's just acknowledging this awkward behavior. I just want to run from it. This episode is with Stevie Blum. She is a licensed psychotherapist based in New York. And she's really great at helping us deal with this stuff. I felt very relaxed.
And I think a lot of women, because we've talked about this on the podcast, and then a lot of people have written me, and I'm sure you, saying, yes, I do the same thing. Why is it in an effort to be liked or in an effort to be part of the conversation or in an effort to come across maybe like you have a great personality or you're irreverent, you say dumb shit?
Oh, yeah.
And then you spiral about it later.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Allison was like, I think I got your girl. That thing you're always talking about on the podcast. I have this psychotherapist and she is going to come on and we are going to talk about overthinking. And we're going to talk about, like I said to her, I said, how can you separate when you go out and then you spiral, like they don't like me, they were talking about me, I'm just going to leave it alone because that's my overthinking. But then what if there are certain times when you actually should be reaching out to that person saying, hey, I didn't like how that felt. Like you seemed kind of cold. Like that was a little bit rude. What am I missing here? But she answers that.
Well, I have a question, Sarah.
What do you want?
Is Olivia synced into your emails?
Olivia.
Yeah. Okay, because I was just sitting here and we're on her computer right now and I'm looking and I'm thinking there's no chance that Olivia has 17,933 unread emails. That's not possible because Olivia's on top of everything. She'll be like, 18 minutes ago, somebody asked you if you're going to this party, thought we should follow up. Like she's very on top of it. No chance.
She's a little too on top of it.
No chance she has 17,933 unread emails. And I know I don't. So that leads me to believe, just purely by the data points that I'm looking at here, scientifically, the finger would point to maybe you. Would those be your emails?
Well, this is scary. I don't want anyone in my fucking emails. And I definitely don't want them in my, browser.
Definitely don't want them in your browser. I don't think she has. Do you have access to Sarah's browser history? She said, thankfully, no. She didn't want to see it either.
Well,
Sarah,
she probably doesn't want to see yours either. Little freaks over there. Simon are a bunch of little freaks. So definitely don't want to see hers. That's for sure. I can't imagine what kind of weird shit you guys do. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. We're looking up the craziest shit together. It's crazy. You don't even know.
I think so.
But stop trying to take this off of you.
Deflect.
Okay? Yeah. You're deflecting hard, my girl. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
sounds like you're overthinking this.
What's up with the 18,000 unread emails? You live like that? Do you really live like that? I want to know.
I'm unaware of all those emails. I should start tackling those.
You need to start. You really have a lot of emails. I think you should spend this weekend catching up maybe on your emails because you have 18,000.
So if I start tackling those now, when do you think I could be down to 5,000?
Maybe in 6 months.
Well, I'm sure a lot of them are spam. I get some crazy spam emails.
I do too.
I get porn and stuff. I get porn. I do not. Hold on. I don't watch porn, but I get porn emails. So what does that mean?
I think people feel like they are targeting someone who needs it in their life, probably.
Or I feel like someone who's watching porn,
You really give porn addict.
I really give porn
Sarah,
addict.
I know what you should do this weekend.
Oh, probably because I buy so much for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you should do this
Euphoria
weekend.
Selling my
Sarah,
emails.
What you should watch this weekend because I know you're going to like it. Okay?
Some porn?
besides porn, but I think you should watch some porn too. No, the Eddie Murphy doc on Netflix.
I saw you posted that. You're horny for Eddie Murphy. Very horny for him.
Yep. I really liked it. And I mean, it's a bit of a puff piece. Like they don't go down any like negative paths, but honestly, it doesn't matter because he's amazing. And I didn't even realize it. You need to watch this doc.
Okay. Is this the Netflix thing? And we love Netflix. Okay. So only saying the best things about
say this?
Oh, no. I mean, every doc on Netflix, I'm obsessed with the person. I'm obsessed with the Beckhams only because of Netflix. I'm obsessed with Charlie
negative.
Sheen.
Like they,
I'm obsessed with
no, the Charlie Sheen one, they did do negative. Like they showed positive and negative.
Yeah, but you still walk away loving the guy. You still walk away wanting. You're still
no. I mean, as a positive, I mean it as a
guy.
compliment. Like you have to show both sides of a person's life. You know.
I'm just saying, every Netflix documentary minus like the murderers, it just makes me fall in love with that person. Like I'm obsessed with the Beckhams. Are you? Are you obsessed with the Beckhams, or you didn't watch it?
No, I'm not obsessed. I didn't watch it.
Oh, okay. I want their full-time reality show. Like I just want it. David Beckham is like one of the more enjoyable people to watch on TV.
Yeah, they do seem like they have a fun dynamic. But I don't know why you're getting off of the Eddie Murphy topic because that's what I started talking about.
Oh yeah, okay.
And you're just sort of just like
you know why?
Past it.
I'll tell you why because I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Well, you need to watch it, and I'm not even going to tell you the details about it that will make you be like, "Oh my God, love him," but you will. And I loved it. And
first of all, I already love Eddie Murphy, but now that you're saying it, he's a very private person. So I guess I don't know that much about him.
Well, his house is stunning. You're going to love it.
Doesn't he have a lot of kids?
11. So depends on what you think a lot is.
11's a lot.
I agree.
11 is a lot.
I agree. 11 is a lot. You know what? His children are his world.
He's like a loving dad. He's a good dad. He
Very
really is
loving.
private.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have any inside knowledge other than the doc, but in his own words, he said, if you're putting your children first, you're always doing the right thing. How cute.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah. Loves his kids.
I love him. And that's so nice to hear from like a superstar, you know, because I think that we have this idea that superstar dads, especially, sorry, the patriarchy, but are just sort of checked out and selfish and on set and live their life and them first and parties and women. And that's nice
I don't want
to hear.
Give too much away, but I'll say another thing is that, you know, he talks about how a lot of fame stories end in destruction. People die young, you know, rehab, destruction, blah, blah, blah. And he says, I was never self-destructive because I love myself.
How does he have such good self-esteem?
I don't know. But he literally said, I love myself. I don't want to destroy my life. He's not self-destructive. He didn't ever go down
drugs.
Nope.
He never went down drugs. That's right. He's never had, or didn't he have a scandal?
Yeah, he had a scandal. They don't really talk about it in the movie.
What I literally don't remember. Was it like he got like a blowjob in a park or something?
I actually haven't looked up to remember the details. Something about a prostitute, something about a trans prostitute.
Let people have it's for me. Can I say something that's probably gonna this might be unpopular. This might upset Montana. Which as you know, I don't care. Why can't people get a prostitute? Like get a prostitute. Who cares?
Well, I believe there's a lot of, you know, trafficking involved in sex workers. I don't think that it's the liberating feminist culture that we like to say that it is. Okay, so Allison is sending us some articles. Let's see.
Oh my God! See, Montana does agree with me. Got Erin. Montana
she's
always
team
agrees
sex
with
worker. Yeah, Montana. You know, I think you should talk to my friend who actually works on behalf of sex workers as a lawyer.
Oh God!
And
there we go.
No. It's not an argument. It's just that she says that there's a big misunderstanding that legalizing prostitution is actually like pro women. And that there is so much trafficking that goes on and abuse.
Right, because they work for pimps. They work for someone who's probably abusing them, taking all their money. If they're having a hard night of sex, they're not enjoying it, and they don't even get to keep the fucking money.
Yeah. So
got it.
Yes. So she basically says that as someone who works on the inside, that it is not. There's nothing like feminist about letting women be sex workers. It's actually like a very, very harmful industry.
Okay.
for
Well,
women.
Montana and I are pro the sex workers who it's on their terms and they get to keep all the money. Those people, I am like, why do we have to regulate that? Let them do their thing. Just like, I feel like teachers should be allowed to be on OnlyFans. We don't pay them well enough. If we were paying them better, do it on your own time. And I don't know. Now we're going down a really crazy road, but
yeah. Anyway, it doesn't look like he did anything that terrible. I mean, sure, he was pulled over for, picking up a prostitute, but like that's his right, no?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that it would have been as big of a deal now as it probably was in the 80s or whenever.
That's a good point. Yeah. But whatever. Do your thing.
And
Eddie.
I'm sure we publicly shamed him like crazy. We probably took away his livelihood. Did we cancel him then? Like we cancel people now?
I don't know. Either way, watch the doc. Okay,
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. What? Oh, you know what I really want to watch? Have you seen this show? They're doing a good ad campaign for it. It's on Peacock. It's with the girl from Succession, Sara.
No, I don't know this one.
Yeah, it looks riveting.
Well, I've been watching the show Pluribus. The creator is a dear friend of mine, Vince Gilligan, who I met one time at Julie Orn's house and we were sat next to each other at dinner.
You've met a lot of interesting people at Julie Orn's house. Did you meet Elon Musk at Julie Orn's house too?
No, this is the same dinner. And I sat next to the mother of Elon Musk's first 5 children.
Yeah, he was there with her.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. God, you don't remember anything. Yes. This was before anyone gave a shit about Elon Musk.
You
had dinner with him.
Well, yes, definitely. It was before that. But
yeah, because like nobody was even paying attention to him.
Well, yeah, clearly I really wasn't because I didn't even know he was there.
He was there. I wasn't there, but I remember you telling me about him. You're like, oh, this kind of weird guy, but like I really liked his wife. This was like 15 years ago.
I don't think so.
Erin, I'm telling you.
Really? Oh, big dinner party.
I'm telling you.
Kivas put it together. That's why. That's why. It was Elon, his wife, Vince Gilligan. But
nobody was like trying to sit next to Elon. I remember you. I remember you were like, he was like, kind of weird, but I
okay, stop saying that I said he was weird.
Okay, sorry.
Jesus.
But you did say he was, you did say he was weird.
I don't remember saying that. You could be making it up. You weren't even there. Okay.
No, I wasn't there, but you just told me about it the next day.
But this guy's got a lot of power, so maybe chill on me saying that. I probably said he's very interesting.
He probably never misses an episode of World's First Podcast.
Just saying, I probably said wonderful things. I probably said he's really fascinating and brilliant.
It's better
and smart.
we edit this out. It's better we edit this out because he never misses
a listener.
A Thursday.
He's a listener.
A girl came up to me.
Don't listen to what Sarah's saying, okay?
A girl came up to me. I swear, anytime I'm like, should we keep doing the pod? Like, we're so busy.
I thought you were obsessed with doing the pod.
Someone will come up to me and they'll be like, this podcast got me through the hardest time in my life. And they'll go into their details. And I'm just like, damn, even just that one person.
You're like, God, I'm inspiring.
Like, God, I'm amazing. So for Josie's birthday, and then I want to wrap it up with you. For Josie's birthday, I was like, every year we do Disneyland. We go to Disneyland. I call up those, Bob Iger favors. I get the guide, even though, Disney's our studio. So I could probably actually just go that route. And, it's kind of fancy. And it's like, I'm always like, ooh, the kids are going to think it's so cool to like cut the line. They never give a shit. They like waiting in the line.
Well, they'd give a shit if they had to wait.
No, Erin, kids don't care. Did you ever think about that when we were a kid going to Disneyland, waiting in line for 2 hours to go on Thunder Mountain? No, you didn't. It was just fun. And it's just what you do. But so this year I was like, we're not doing that. Like, let's just be chill. Let's get a pizza. Let's eat in the trunk. Let's go to a little shitty escape room. I probably spent like $200 on her birthday. And then I had an idea. I go, Josie is always talking about
manifesting.
She's always talking about affirmations and how she wants to have her own affirmations because she sees mine in my bathroom. And I go, oh my God, let's do an affirmation station where we set up a station. We get all the art supplies.
A manifestation station.
No, Erin, an affirmation station. Oh. Do you follow me? Do you see this? Like,
I don't follow you. No.
Okay. So we got all the art supplies. We got all the art supplies. We set up an affirmation station and all the girls basically wrote their affirmations, their own personal affirmations that they're going to tape to their wall in front of their toothbrush, because that's the place that you're going to look at least twice a day. I mean, hopefully twice a day. And it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And I posted it. I was like, oh, should I post this? It's kind of a private moment. And then I was like, no, because you know what? This is going to inspire other parents to do this. And it only helps us, because this is the future generation that's going to come up. And we want these women, these young girls, to feel empowered and know how amazing they are. And so many people
really
were
cute.
like, not only like, I'm doing this for my kid's birthday, this is the best idea, I'm going to do this. It was just,
The girls were really into it.
The girls were so.
Do you want to know what I got
into it.
Josie for her birthday?
Oh, yeah. She said, she mentioned auntie, my rich auntie. I was expecting big things, and she got me nothing.
Well, I told her it wasn't ready yet because I put in the orders a little bit late and it came in a little choppy. But I put together for her. Are you ready?
Well, it wasn't as good as what I did for her.
A
My video?
non-toxic care package.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. And guess what? One of the things is that's in there is
Toilet paper?
No, but I was going to throw that in there too. Is a mini red light thing. So that it's like puts it on a little stand. It's like called like the mini something. So she can like use it for like relaxation at night and like health and wellness. And then it's like a large glass water bottle. And it's a skincare brand that's clean for teens, for like preteens. And it's like a natural deodorant. And then it's non-toxic nail polish and all these cute little non-toxic things.
Wow. So this is like a non-toxic treasure chest. Only the best for Josie.
I went on this website that I've been using a lot lately. And I actually know the woman who started it now. But I followed this website before, and then I met the woman and she got brought into the non-toxic mom chat. Her name's Maya James. So her website.
Oh, wait, who's Maya James? I've heard of her.
She lives in New York. She's married to Chris James's brother.
Oh.
Yeah. CJ.
Okay.
Anyway, she has a website called GimmeTheGoodStuff.com. Gimme, Gimme, GimmeTheGoodStuff.com. And it has a ton of recommendations and guides for clean, non-toxic things. So it could be like kid stuff, kitchen stuff, tech stuff, like bedding, home stuff, whatever. So I went on there and I found a bunch of different links to things and got a bunch of stuff for her. And so there's a skincare brand because she got that funny little thing on her eye the other day and she's always sweating with tennis and stuff. So it's like a clean skincare brand for kids. Clean deodorant, hairbrush.
She wanted her own Bepantene. She asked for a first aid kit and Bepantene, and she got both. And, you're going to maybe upstage my Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner
I know, I really am.
video that I got. Roger Federer. I mean, I got these personalized.
I know, but that was last week.
You got to love this child, by the way. She was just like, she was so overwhelmed by it. She was just like, I don't understand. Why are they leaving me a message? Like, she was like, I'm not worthy. Like, she doesn't understand that her dad is like so respected in the tennis world and that Tommy's like so iconic to so many of these young players who, a lot of these guys. Tommy there's like a very famous game, like a Nintendo game or Switch or one of those fucking things. I don't know. And he was one of the main guys. So like you would pick a player and a lot of people
made some good money off of that. That game was big.
I don't know. I'm sure they had terrible deals back in the, early 2000s. But the point is of course these people are going to do it for Tommy. But Josie doesn't get it. She's just like, why? Like these people are so busy. Why would they take their time out of their very important day to leave me a message? Like she didn't understand. I'm just like, Josie, you're an angel. You're just an angel from God. The heaven. I mean, it's just beyond. Okay. Well, I think we've said enough here, and I just am very excited for you guys to listen to this episode about overthinking because I think it's going to help so many of you because we're all dealing with the same shit.
We're all dealing with being a little cray.
Yeah. All right.
Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to experience?
It sounds like a Ponzi scheme already. What are you selling us?
Would you like to experience Cantor's Deli, a place that I frequented often, more like multiple times a week, usually around the hours of...
Well, let's just say what we're talking about. We're talking about
3 and 4 a.m.
The Airbnb experiences. Okay?
Yes.
You may have seen one of the experiences highlighted in our show, Nobody Wants This. In
I
the
just
show we
love the idea.
Sorry, I'm just trying to explain to everyone what
Oh,
what
you're
we're talking about. I'm talking.
Yeah, okay.
In the Valentine's Day episode, they do an Airbnb experience, the pasta making class. And so then in real life, Sara and I went to Cantor's and did a Airbnb experience there. It was very fun. Now you can talk, Sara.
That's so kind. Thank you so much. I do love that Airbnb is doing something like this because even my kids, they now are looking for experiences. They are looking for creative and different ways to bond with their friends. So the old days of just like, oh, come over and sit on my couch and play Nintendo. No, kids don't want to do that anymore.
They want to get out into the world. I think Airbnb experiences are really great when you're traveling and you go to a new city and you're trying to think of things to do and how to connect with other people who are also traveling so that you don't feel like you're being a tourist and going to all the same places. Do an experience, do an Airbnb experience when you're in a new town, and then you're going to meet other people who either live there or who are also traveling. And it's kind of like a great way to get to know where you are and do something different.
Yeah. How many times can you go to like a natural history museum? You know, it's like, it
Zero
just
for
gets
me.
a little, definitely zero for you. But so Cantor's is an iconic deli in Los Angeles, also known as being open 24 hours a day. So when the clubs would get out, that's where all the celebrities would go. If you go do this experience, you are under the same roof as like Mick Jagger, Marilyn Monroe was there. I mean, you name them, they have been there. So this was a very cool experience, but they have a million cool experiences.
Check out an experience for your next trip at airbnb.com/experiences.
Okay, you guys, I've posted about Vivrel before. I think that this is one of those companies, not all of them, but some of them I go, why didn't I think of this business? Like, why? It's so obvious. It makes so much sense. It's something we all need. And I wish I came up with it. Okay, so Vivrel, it is a first of its kind luxury accessories members only club. Okay, so it is giving members access to borrow designer handbags, jewelry, watches, diamonds, all the things that honestly we don't need to own. We don't need to own the bag of the moment because it's not going to be the bag of the moment in 2 years. We need to borrow it. We need to wear it for a couple weeks, post it, have all of our girlfriends tell us, "Oh my God, I wish I had that bag," because let's be honest, we're all only dressing for women. And then we get to give it back. And then we get to borrow the next bag of the moment. I mean, it really is just such a genius concept. I've borrowed Chanel tweed bags that I would never spend the money to own it, but they just pull my outfit together. And I'll do it according to season. So like holiday season, I'll borrow all the bags that I need for holiday parties, for holiday events, for all those things. And then I get to give them back. Membership starts at $45 a month. The most popular membership is the Classique tier for $119 a month. This is a great gift too. Holidays are coming up. Gift your wife, your girlfriend, your friend. Give her this membership. So go to www.vivrel.com and apply for a membership today using code FOSTER for 50% off of 1 month of membership. The code is also going to allow you to skip the Vivrel waitlist. That is VIVRELLE.com. Use code FOSTER for 50% off 1 month of membership. All right, you guys, the holidays are amongst us. They're creeping. I've already started my initial holiday shopping now. Osea is at the top of my list. There is no woman or man, more women, but men need skincare too, who will not be so thrilled to open up a gift and it be Osea. I would say everything in the line works for a gift, the moisturizers, the serums, but the thing that is kind of all over TikTok and what everyone is talking about is the Ocean Body Glow Set. It is the perfect gift. Everyone wants to have glowing skin on their body. So it includes 3 of Osea's best-selling body care products at obviously a much better value. Each item is full-sized. It's packed in an adorable box. You can skip the wrapping paper. You literally don't need to wrap it. Obviously, get one for yourself too. The set sells out, okay? We sold it out last year. Maybe we didn't sell it out, but it did sell out. So save $40 on the set at oseamalibu.com and get an additional 10% off with code FIRST. So give the gift of glow this holiday with our listener discount on Osea's clean, clinically tested skincare. Use the code FIRST for 10% off your first order site-wide at oseamalibu.com. That's 10% off your first order with code FIRST at oseamalibu.com.
Okay, well, Stevie, we're very excited to have you on. We think that our listeners will be very interested in the conversation that we're going to have. And so we know, but maybe give our listeners a little bit of a background on who you are and the kind of work you do.
Great. Well, I'm so happy to be here. My name is Stevie, and I'm a therapist who specializes in working with high-functioning women who tend to really overthink and doubt themselves and, get caught in a spiral or struggle with anxiety. And I teach them how to quiet out that external noise and get really clear on who they are and how to design their life in a way that best suits their unique hardwiring.
God, you are talking to two people who, well, I guess I'll just speak for
yourself.
myself.
Speak for yourself.
I'm going to speak for myself. The theme of so many therapy conversations over the last few years, I've been very open and honest about how I started my therapy journey about 5 years ago, is about my overthinking and how it's connected to shame and how I catastrophize everything. I mean, I'm the queen of, if someone doesn't text me back, I assume they're mad at me, right? Like, and what's so fucked up.
And the irony is you never text anyone back.
No, what's so fucked up is that I have a almost 15-year-old daughter who is doing the same thing. And I'm like, I did this. I can't believe I did this.
We didn't do it, but we do see that a lot because
she watched me do it. She watched me do it because they're watching.
I mean, the truth is we're all doing it. And that's why, this is where I really honed in on my work, because I work with so many awesome women who have no reason to doubt themselves, who have no reason to overthink themselves, but it's almost become this like conditioned habit that we just default to. And we almost feel like it's our fate, one that we can't escape.
Absolutely. Yeah. And something that I read here in the notes that really stood out to me was this idea that, so many of us fall victim to this black and white, all or nothing thinking. And so, for an example, someone maybe thinks they're always right, or they think that they're the world's biggest failure, and that we all kind of live somewhere in between.
Yeah. So I think that's a huge part of people's suffering is they try to make their emotions fit into one singular box or try to make their reactions to an experience make sense according to one narrative. But things are very rarely that black and white. There's a ton of nuance and a ton of conflicting feelings present at once. And so when you learn to sort of normalize, I can be jealous for my friend, but happy for them. I can be excited for this experience and terrified for it. When you make space for all the emotions, so much suffering is reduced because that spiral loop we get stuck on is really like trying to make it all fit into one singular, sensation, one emotion.
I tell myself, I now, it's so crazy that I now have a daughter who's like 3 years away from being an adult, so I'm really in. I keep saying to people, I'm like, this is when parenting gets real. Like I was overwhelmed with toddlers and little kids, but that is a whole different ball game. You have to show up in a whole different way as a parent when they're this age. But so I always say to her, I'm like, V, you're telling yourself lies, which I do all the time. I am literally telling myself lies on a daily basis. I'm just creating the worst case scenario in my mind all the time. And of course, it's like that 4 a.m. one is when the overthinking is so psychotic.
Of course.
It is just everything is heightened at the 4 a.m. overthink. But
well, I'd like to ask that because it's one of a question I had.
Yeah.
Why are the thoughts so much scarier and more intense in the middle of the night?
I think there's a few reasons for it, but I suspect for women like you who have a ton going on, right? Who like just are jumping from this to this to this to this, balancing all these different roles, work, motherhood.
I was doing it when I was a huge loser. Nope, doing it when I was a loser with barely a job,
Well,
still
I
happening
suspect
then.
it's just at that hour of the night, you kind of have space where everything kind of quiets down. And it's when we're not distracted by other things that, our mind gets the worst of us. And that's where that catastrophizing comes in. And that's how, so the big question, like, how do we stop overthinking? It's really starting to parse out what are just the stories I'm telling myself and what are actual facts. Because we don't learn in school that not all thoughts and feelings are facts. We think if it comes into our mind, it must be coming into our mind for a reason, and therefore we have to engage with it and understand it. But so much of what enters our brain space is, bullshit, for lack of a better word.
But how do you even begin to weed out what's true and what's not? You know what I'm saying? How do you even begin to compartmentalize or to separate or to calm that voice?
So there's a few different methods. First things first is you have to get really, there's a lot of different conflicting noises. There's all different types. There's the stories we tell ourselves about how people feel about us, and there's the stories we tell ourselves about our different capabilities, and then there's the stories we tell ourselves about the worst case scenarios that could happen, and each type of story kind of elicits a different response. But the most important thing is really learning how to collect data points about who you are and how you function best and how certain people in certain situations make you feel. And once you get really clear on that information, you can then start to sort through what is really me and what is all this noise that's been thrusted upon me. And then, of course, when you have, the catastrophic thinking or the paranoid thoughts about people thinking stories about you, you want to slow down a bit and check the facts and say, okay, is there any evidence to support that? Or, what are other vulnerabilities I'm experiencing right now that might be contributing to why I'm having this thought? For example, did I sleep last night? Have I been nourishing my body well? So many physiological vulnerabilities contribute to these, spinning over anxious thoughts.
Don't even get me started when it comes to dating and the guy, all the things we would tell ourselves, but we will definitely get into that later.
I was going to say a lot of this is DBT thinking, right?
What's DBT? What's that?
So DBT stands for dialectical behavior therapy. It's a form of cognitive behavioral therapy, but the dialectical part comes from the Eastern philosophy of yin and yang, which basically means you can feel two contrasting things at once. And what's so awesome about DBT is it's these really concrete tools on how to regulate your emotions, how to tolerate distress, and how to be more interpersonally effective. But most importantly, how to be mindful. So really how to slow down and collect those data points that I was just mentioning about how certain people and places make you feel, how to collect those data points from a very non-judgmental place. That's a really important thing, because we tend to label things as black and white terms, good or bad, right or wrong. And again, that's where a lot of our suffering comes from.
Well, it's so funny that you just said about the non-judgmental thing, because I was just saying in a previous episode, I mean, we had no expert on, so it was just Erin and I, and we're not, experts in anything. But I was saying that I read somewhere, I heard someone talking about what is the common denominator with people who have a lot of friends, and not a lot of fake friends, people who collect friends, but real meaningful relationships. And it was that they are non-judgmental, that we're drawn to people who, and it doesn't mean they're not authentic, but they're just non-judgmental people. And that those are the people that we gravitate to. And I guess there's a connection to then being non-judgmental of ourselves, right?
Yes.
It's hard to love yourself if you're always judging yourself.
Yeah. They're two sides of the same coin, because if you're prone to judging other people, you believe that the world views you through that same critical lens. And if you judge yourself through a harsh lens, of course, you think the world is judging you through that harsh lens as well. So judgment can be really insidious. But it can also be really good information for you, because whenever I'm judging something, it's always something that I either embody myself and are afraid to admit, or I wish I could embody, but I haven't, evolved yet to be able to. So as harmful as judgment can be, it's also a really, really powerful source of information.
Do you believe that? Because I've heard, obviously you believe it because you're telling me, but is that the same concept of, because I've thought about this a lot, that if you are triggered by something, for lack of a more annoying word, it's that I'm so over everything being triggering, but that if something really bothers you, annoys you about someone, if you judge that thing in them, it's because you have that thing in yourself. I've thought about it a lot. I don't know if it's always true for me.
Well, it's either you have it in yourself and it's something you feel shameful about, or you wish you could embody. I'll give you a perfect example. I had a friend who quit their job to travel the world, and I was very judgmental of it. How could you quit your job and not have another job lined up? And I took a second. I was like, why do I care? Why is this impacting me?
I know why you
because I'm
cared.
jealous. Yeah,
Yep.
of course, exactly. Because I wish
Yeah.
I could, sort of have that carefreeness to kind of bet on myself and explore the world without needing to have the next, opportunity or achievement lined up. And there's so much more about that I obviously was jealous about, but it was very
Isn't
illuminating.
that funny, you guys? Like, it's taken me so long to be able to admit jealousy. Like, I used to always, like, one of my friends would always go on like girls' trips to Cabo, as a mom. And I used to be like so bitchy about it.
Mhm.
I would just be like, oh my God. I mean, why'd you even have kids? Like I was just so fucking judgmental. And honestly, I feel so bad about my backhanded compliments that when deep down I was just like, well, I want to go to Cabo. Like, I want someone to invite me to Cabo. I want to have a live-in nanny so that I can always be, it was literally 1,000%, not 99%. It was 100% rooted in jealousy.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's
envy.
also your
Is
own
it
shit.
envy or jealousy?
It's also your own shit because you could go to Cabo. You choose not to do that. So it's like you're annoyed with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll sit with that for a second.
But you know what? We're always doing the best we can with the information.
Yeah, but are we, Stevie? Are we always doing the best we can? I kind of hate when people say that. Not you, but I like not you, but are we? Because I say this shit all the time. I go, oh, it's okay. Like, I'm doing the best I can. I actually said that to someone the other day, and I walked away going, you're so full of shit, Sara. Like, you're not. You could be doing way better.
Well, this is a big part of DBT. We always say we're doing the best we can and we can do better. So the fact that we can do better doesn't negate the fact that we're doing the best we can. But the fact that we're doing the best we can doesn't mean we can't also do better at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Very
why
true.
it comes up a lot, I guess, in your work that high functioning women seem to be the people who are overthinking the most and sort of torturing ourselves. Why is that?
Well, I think there's a few reasons for that. First and foremost, I think that when you are a very motivated, ambitious person and you start to sort of establish your worth by achievement and you kind of and external measures, you kind of become addicted to sort of evaluating yourself as a protective measure. You feel like you need to have this hypervigilance to be able to protect yourself or to prepare yourself or to make sure that you are as perfect as you aspire to be. A lot of these women are perfectionists. And I also think that overthinking really, I said earlier, it becomes a habitual behavior. Like I used to have a behavior where I would go out for the night and the next morning I would scan my performance. Who's mad at me? How did I do? And it was like clockwork. It didn't even matter what happened the night before. I trained myself that when I wake up the next morning, I need to look backwards and evaluate my behavior. And I do that with work and all different sorts of contexts. So we don't even realize that our brain is a creature of habit and will just resort to these behaviors if we don't challenge it. Overthinking is a behavior to challenge. It's not something that we have to do. It's something we get conditioned to do.
Is there a connection to sort of what our childhood environment was? The attachment style that our parents had? I mean, is there something everything I'm sure stems from all of that. But
I just want to, I know you're asking Stevie this, but I just want to say that, before Stevie answers, one of my favorite things about DBT, which is different than other therapies, is you don't spend time talking about why you do this and your childhood. You just focus on the resolution, not the like, my daddy issues or my this or my that. And it's kind of, at least when I did DBT, it's sort of like, it just feels like you get further along in the process because you're working on the fix, not the why.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And we always say, you didn't cause your problems and you still have to be the one to fix them. But I think in DBT, there is the one expression we do realize is that most of us have some sort of invalidation that occurs, something that teaches us that we need to sort of respond with this hypervigilance in order to be safe. Hypervigilance is what I'm calling overthinking.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I love working honestly with Josh. He's not even a therapist anymore. He's more of like a life coach. We really tackle, to your point, and it's not DBT, but we're not spending, hours and hours in the weeds of, when I was 5. It's really just how can we tackle today? How from today on can I be my best self? What are the steps I need to take to blah, blah, blah. I don't work well in therapy with anything other than that is for sure. But you say that some of your clients come in frustrated, sharing that after years and years of therapy, they know why they do certain things to the point of what we were just saying, but they don't know what to do with that understanding. And that's so real. It's like, once you've delayered, okay, now what?
Well, especially for women that are overthinking and are very analytical, they've arrived at these conclusions. That's often what's getting them stuck, is sort of replaying and trying to understand themselves. And so I think they're really hungry for concrete tools. And, there's all different types of modalities that work for all different types of people. But one of the greatest things about DBTs is how concrete it is and how hands-on it is. And it gives you actionable things to move forward with.
Okay, guys, Sarah's not here right now, so I can say this. I am also on a little bit of an anti-aging journey. Okay. I've been doing things that have been helping my skin look better. And one of them is taking Fatty 15. So it's very exciting. Basically, C15 from Fatty 15. It is the first emerging essential fatty acid to be discovered in more than 90 years. That's a very big deal. Let that sit for a second. It's an incredible scientific breakthrough. It supports our long-term health and wellness and our aging. So basically, the founder, who is a woman, Dr. Stephanie Venn Watson, she discovered the benefits of C15 while she was working with the U.S. Navy to continually improve the health and welfare of aging dolphins. Okay. There have been over 100 studies, and we now know that C15 strengthens our cells, which is a key healthy aging nutrient. Okay. So when our cells age, our bodies age too. And it eventually led to the study that found the first nutritional deficiency in 75 years, called cellular fragility syndrome, which is from a lack of, you guessed it, C15. Okay. So Fatty 15 has C15 in it. You're basically going to replenish your body of this important nutrient, and it helps your cells age slower. So Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. You are going to get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/Foster and using the code Foster at checkout.
Okay, you guys, have you ever thought about the direct impact that your shower water has on your skin and hair? It's just something that I never used to think about until people I really respect started saying to me, "Are you not using that Jolie filter? What are you thinking?" It's just so obvious to us that we filter the water we drink. Obviously, that's what we do. But the water that touches our skin and that dictates basically how our hair is going to look. You know how when you go to certain cities or certain different states, your hair does something different? It's the water. So Jolie is a beauty wellness company with a clinically proven filtered shower head that is removing chlorine and heavy metals to improve your skin and hair. It takes about 2 minutes to install it. It fits all showers. It looks great. It has amazing pressure. I think similar to most people, you are likely spending thousands of dollars on skincare and hair care products every year. But the real issue that we are not talking about enough is the quality of your shower water. So that is where Jolie and its filter shower head comes in play. So for the first time ever, Jolie is offering an exclusive 20% off discount. This is the perfect opportunity to give you or someone special a gift that is going to get used every day and truly transform your everyday routine. Head to jolieskinco.com/Foster to get 20% off. That is JOLIESKINCO.com/Foster for 20% off. And if you or your loved ones don't love it, you can return it for a full refund within 60 days, no questions asked. Also available on Amazon. Get Jolie now.
I love Clean Simple Eats because their protein powder has nothing artificial in it. And as you know, I am very psycho about what I eat, and it seems nowadays it is really hard to find things that pass the clean test. What I've learned you have to look for is that something that you are eating is third-party tested for heavy metals and all different kinds of contaminants, because you don't want to trust a company to be testing it themselves. So Clean Simple Eats is always third-party tested, and it is non-GMO, it is soy-free, and there is 0 added sugar. That is very important. So every serving has 20 grams of grass-fed, very important, whey protein isolate. Something that they have that's very interesting and very different is that they have something called a clear protein soda. So it's basically this like refreshing, light, bubbly, almost like a flavored water, but it's a protein drink. I've never seen anything like it. So if you love flavored bubbly water, sodas that are healthy for you, this is something that you should drink because we need to be getting our protein gains. They have this delicious frosted lemonade flavor, and it has 20 grams of protein. So it's protein packed and it's a clean soda substitute. I love all the products. Highly recommend. Visit cleansimpleeats.com and use the promo code Foster10 at checkout for 10% off your order. That is cleansimpleeats.com. The code is Foster10 for 10% off your order. Link is also available in the show notes. So when you say hypervigilance, it really stands out to me because it's like overthinking. We somehow think that we are being really on top of it. We are really investigating hard. And if we stop overthinking for 1 second, something bad is going to happen. It makes me think about people who are afraid of flying. And I've said to Sara before, she's a very scared flyer. I'm like, girl, take a Xanax and go to sleep. And she's like, no, I can't. I have to be alert so that I can basically be on top of whatever's going wrong. I can listen for the sound or look out the window and tell you if there's a fire going. And I'm like, girl, if it's going down, you might as well get some good sleep before it happens. But
No,
she thinks
Erin,
sometimes she's going to like fix it. Yeah.
I haven't told you. No, I used to think that my mind could keep the plane flying. Okay. I've literally lived my life going, okay, if I keep my laser focus on this one thing, I'm going to be able to hold, like, this is the crazy shit that's gone on my mind. I haven't told you this, Erin, but
You've been keeping our planes up the whole time.
I have been, my whole flying vibe has shifted a little bit. I used to never be able to sleep on planes. I now sleep because I'm telling you, I've started, like, I'm now aware of the lies I've told myself. And now I'm sort of just in my body looking at freaking hardcore data, right? Now there's something, and I don't know, I'm sure it's the inner work I've been doing, but it's like, I now sort of have tools to shut that part of my brain off that's telling me lies, which is, oh, this turbulence is going to make your plane go down. No, it's not. No, it's not. Turbulence doesn't do that, right? So I haven't told you that, Erin. I actually been a little more chill flying, but you wouldn't know because you don't fly with me. You take separate flights.
Well, that's the thing about overthinking is the more you do it, the more you feel the need to do it. So the fact that you kind of, I always say, picture your thoughts like a conveyor belt, and your thoughts are all these boxes coming down, and you can notice the box, like all the fearful flying thoughts,
and then
not open them. Exactly. Send them on their way. And the more that you do that, the less the inclination or the pull to give into that habit of overthinking takes over you. But that middle ground between noticing the thought and choosing not to engage with it is a really, really painful, uncomfortable place to be.
Do you have like breathing exercises or like I'm sure you do, where to sort of help that process become a little more seamless and like thought, but it's gone. I get rid of it.
The thing I always say is if you can name it, you can claim it, you can tame it. So first is sort of naming, like, that's that scary box, that's that anxious box, that's the box I don't want to open, helps. And then there's so many different types of like breathing styles that I find really helpful. But I'm glad you brought that up because this population of high functioning women tend to really intellectualize everything. And if you can learn to get into your body instead of trying to solve it in your mind, but really just trying to like breathe through it, you'll get to the other side so much faster. So we need to think less and just like feel more. And that's the best thing to do when you're feeling in a spiral is to just turn it into action. Just go for a walk, take a cold shower, take a hot shower, but analyze less and turn it into something action oriented.
So there's something powerful about washing your hair. No, there really is. Like it's just like a very powerful thing to do. Wash your freaking hair.
Well, I have a question on the opposite end because when I get overwhelmed, I tend to not get like manic and panicky. I actually get really tired and my brain shuts down. And I have a really hard time figuring out what to do next. And I get sort of like decision fatigue. And I'll give you a very silly but concrete example, which is last night. I brought my child over. She's like almost a year and a half over to Sarah's for Josie's birthday. And I had brought stuff with us in case we stayed so late that I should just give her a bath there, right? Which we never do. It was starting to get later and I couldn't decide what to do. And I feel like this enormous responsibility for this human being that I have in front of me and making the right decision for her so that she gets the most sleep, rest, food, all the things. And I realized like it's getting later and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I just kind of shut down and decided like, I'm just not going to deal with it, which is insane. I'm somebody's mother. Okay. My husband, who is in a different state, he calls me. He goes, just letting you know it's 6:38. Have you made it? Like, do you know what you're going to do? Because you kind of need to make a decision. And I said, I don't know what to do. And it's a silly thing. Do I bathe her here? Or do I get in the car and leave right now? And I needed him to make the decision for me because I literally just like my brain shut down and I couldn't figure out the right thing to do. And I needed somebody else to tell me what to do.
I watched the whole thing happen.
It happens all the time. And I'm like embarrassed by it because I'm thinking I'm someone's mom and I don't know how to make the simplest decision because I feel like there's too much pressure on me.
Well, nothing to be embarrassed about. And obviously there's a little bit of decision fatigue when you're making a
No, it was a little embarrassing. I'm like, put her in the bath. Like I have a bath. Like I have children. I have a family friendly bath. It's a safe bath. It's not slippery. It's right there. You could just put her in the bath. Yeah, no, I watched it.
Well, this is where mindfulness comes in because you start to understand your patterns and habits. So there are certain themes around the things that create paralysis or bring you to what I call like the skills breakdown point where you completely shut down. And so part of our work is sort of understanding the chain of events that gets you to that skills breakdown point so you can intervene a little sooner. Because I suspect before you got overwhelmed with that decision, there were a bunch of other things that happened before that were mounting up top of each other that led to your feelings of overwhelm. So if you start to collect those data points, again, from a non-judgmental place, you might realize, 15 minutes ago, I noticed that my heart was racing, or I started to all of a sudden ask myself a bunch of questions. That's a signal to myself that I'm starting to get my temperature is rising. I'm getting to that breakdown point. What can I do instead? Maybe I go for a walk now. Maybe I ask for help. Maybe I eat a snack, whatever it is. But you create your own roadmap. You start to understand yourself so well that you can anticipate these situations and intervene sooner.
That's interesting. Ask for help. Like, you could have said to mom, or would you not have? Because you don't trust her with giving her a bath? Or no, I don't know. I used to never trust anyone giving my kids a bath. I was always paranoid about it. But that is interesting. It's very hard. Is there a connection between overthinking and it being hard to ask people for help? Because I suffer from both of those.
I'm sure. Well, first of all, just generally being high functioning and perfectionist and carrying a lot on your plate, you kind of have the mental checklist. You're doing it all yourself. It's very hard to delegate. And you're also just not as comfortable asking for help. You sort of probably have had some sort of survival strategy where you realize you kind of have to do it all yourself in order for this ship to float properly.
I feel like you're categorizing us as high functioning and we're not.
I have enough evidence to see that you're definitely high functioning. And in the sense that, just like, yourself and you've been able to thrive in the world. That's my metric for high functioning.
Yeah. You know what? We're high functioning. We pulled off like the ultimate grift, we
literally
pulled off
you're fooling a lot of people because you definitely seem high functioning.
We're tired 23 hours a day. 23 hours a day. We are fatigued. Oh my God.
Well, we have a lot of questions from social.
Yeah, we do have a lot of questions. I know, but it's like a lot of people are writing in, people are funny. They just go, what is the solve to overthinking? Like, well, it's a little more complicated than that, and it's what we've been talking about nonstop, but I think we should keep giving our listeners more tools.
Oh my God. This person said, why do we freeze when we're overwhelmed? I can't do anything when I'm overthinking. I mean, this is what happens to me. We just talked about it.
Yeah. Well, the three questions that I just need everyone to hear, and they're so simple, but I think they make the biggest impact is, how do I feel? How do I want to feel? What do I need to do to feel that way? And if you get in the habit of checking in with yourself several times a day and asking that, you won't get so overwhelmed. You'll start to design your life in a way that really sets you up for success. You'll start to realize, like, if I call this person right now, it's going to make me feel this way, so I'm going to avoid that. Or if I'm really feeling anxious, so I know I need to go for a walk, or whatever it is. Everyone has their own formula for their hardwiring, but you need to check in with yourself and do a lot of trial and error, collecting those data points before you really know how you best function.
That's interesting what you just said. You said, because I want to dive into relationships, because I I fully feel like one of the greatest tools in helping my overthinking is community and relationships and putting myself out there to be like, hey, can you talk for a second? Like all of those things. There's no better cure than a great conversation with a girlfriend. To me, it is medicine. But how you just said, if you know a certain person triggers that thing in you, maybe don't answer the phone when you see them FaceTiming or calling. And this is really big because I have recently become really realistic about certain people in my life who I like and who some of them love, but I know what I'm going to get when I answer that FaceTime or when I pick up the phone or when I invite them to a thing. I know what I'm going to get and I know what it's going to push in me. And that might be the unhealed thing in me, but I'm at least now aware of it. And it's really helpful when you're in that state to not engage because you know what it does to you.
Exactly. And both because you know that they might trigger you, or sometimes just sitting and talking about what you're thinking is actually the exact opposite of what's going to help you, right? That goes back to stop thinking about it, go turn into action, breathe your way through it. So if both community is like a double-edged sword. It can be really helpful, of course, to vent and to process, but sometimes you end up sort of continuing to process and obsess in a way that doesn't serve you.
But I also know you can't change people, right? For so long, I used to be like, I'm going to pick up that phone and I'm going to tell them how I feel. And I'm going to tell them that thing that they just did was so whack and blah, blah, blah. But I'm in a place now I go,
are you talking about me?
Yeah, I was. This is why I don't answer your FaceTimes, because it's like, I can't change you. You are who you are. And now not only do I not want to change you, but I now know I can't change you. So it's like, instead of picking up I'm actually not talking about you, but I don't know. I'm rambling, but you guys know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no, that's a very empowering shift when you say, I'm going to stop waiting for you to change and I'm just going to change how I show up to the relationship or put these quiet boundaries.
Which is, I'll call you tomorrow.
Exactly.
I'll call you tomorrow when I'm not in this headspace because I know I can't control your vibe on the other end of this. So I know what my vibe is right now. I'll call you tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's made me a lot more, I don't know. Find what is the saying? Not find your peace. Be your peace. What is it? Live
Protecting your peace.
Protect your peace. Guys, protect your peace.
This comes up a lot in different episodes that we do. This person wrote asking, how do I overcome the fear of just going for it with a career pivot? I'm 40.
Yeah, well, first I want to know what's the stories you're telling yourself about what this pivot means, right? There's clearly a lot of head trash there, a lot of limiting beliefs. And so we got to get really clear on what those are before we challenge them. But I think, there's a lot of noise and women in general tend to underestimate themselves or, get stuck on certain timelines and what they mean to be at a certain age. But obviously, none of that matters. You can do anything at any point.
And does that start to breed this thing we talked about earlier, which is the jealousy of somebody else, the anxiety? To me, in my experience, it's like when you know that there's something you want bigger than what you're doing, when you have goals that you're not willing to take the risk to pursue, you start to become resentful because you know that you're not living the life that you're meant to live or you want to live. And then when somebody else does it, it pisses you off, right? When you see someone succeed, it feels like a personal attack on you. And so those are the moments, in my opinion, where you have this crossroads of, do I want to go chase the life that I want for myself, or do I want to sort of sit where I am comfortably, but very uncomfortably? Those are the 3 a.m. thoughts of like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because that's a great example of when jealousy and judgment's a really good source of information for you. And the only thing that's going to make that comparison feel better is to go out and live the life aligned with what you know is waiting for you. And you have to become a glutton for discomfort. You have to just sort of seek it out and lean into it because that's the only way you're going to get to the other side. You have to normalize discomfort.
I love that you say your role with people is helping you create your personal operating manual. Like sitting with someone, who are you? What are your values? What are your vulnerabilities? How do you function best? With whom do you feel your best? That's huge. Together, we will remove the mental clutter, preventing you from living your best and most authentic life. And it's like so simple, but even me reading that, I'm like, oh God, that's like a lot of work to face the to really show up and answer those questions honestly?
Yes. Yeah, I say you sort of have to pretend you're an alien who has never been to this earth before, so you have no preconceived notions about anything, and you're just observing how things make you feel. And so the way that we design your operating manual is it's a lot of going out into the world, having experiences, and then, replaying, well, how'd that make you feel? What did you notice about that? Why did it make you feel that way? And in doing that, you start to develop these patterns, right? This person really energizes me. This person really drains me. This activity really fulfills me. This one is really weighing me down. And you just keep replaying, and eventually you get really clear. The problem is that you have to go out there and have a lot of experiences that aren't quite aligned or aren't suiting you best in order to get really clear on what does.
What's the switchboard theory that you have?
I like to look at life as a switchboard, and each switch is a different domain of your life. You have your friends, your family, your career, your exposure to nature, the way you move your body, the way you nourish it. And the idea here is that at any given point, each switch is either, red, yellow, or green, depending on how much attention you're giving it. And the point is that we can't possibly be green in all areas. It's just not possible. But if you pay attention to where you are in each switch, you know where to focus your attention. So let's say work is a green. I've been giving it a lot of attention, but my social life is kind of a yellow. Well, now I know that's where I need to put my attention. It helps you also realize, one, okay, I can't beat myself up because I'm not green in everything all the time because that's not possible. But two, even where in the areas where I think I'm a yellow or red, there's still a lot I'm a green at. So it kind of gives you a more holistic, more, honest perception.
Are we supposed to be greens all over?
No, you can't be. That's
like
the
that?
point. You can't be. But if you're
Right.
always kind of
No.
modulating and paying attention to where each switch is, you never collapse, right? It's never all red. It's only like a few yellows because you're like, oh, you know what? Now this needs my attention. Oh, you know what? Now this area needs my attention. But you can't attune to everything at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Erin, where's your switchboard at? Where mine's at is like, I need to move that dial on the social life because I have no social life at all. It is so pathetic. Like, it's truly pathetic. So
I think
move that
everyone's
nodule.
switchboard, I guess, is probably very different based on what their lifestyle is and also what their priorities are.
Talk into the microphone, please. Talk into the microphone,
Sorry,
please.
what their priorities are. Like, for instance, for you, your friendships with your girlfriends always comes up for us when we have these conversations. And that's something that you really want to work on in your life. And for me,
But like, is it? Because like, I don't.
because you don't do it.
I've been saying the same shit for 2 years. So maybe I'm a liar. Maybe I'm just saying it, but I don't
Yeah,
mean
I mean, it is interesting because it is something that you always mention is such a priority for you, but it's also something that you don't seem to be working on. So I don't know what you really care about. But also, you and I have different things. Like, I'm not looking to be more social in my life.
Because you've stolen all my friends. So what do you
all your friends?
You stole all my friends.
But I have a different situation because I go home at night and Simon's my best friend. Like, he is, right?
Yeah.
So we watch TV in bed together. We catch up about our day. We have our, so I have that fulfilled in a lot of ways in my marriage. And so I don't have that lack as much. But I also love going to dinner with my girlfriends, of course, and that can fulfill a lot. But that's a void for you that you have to focus on.
Yeah. So do you think, how often should you check in with this switchboard?
That's sort of connected to that how do I feel, how do I want to feel, what do I need to do to feel that way question. It's all part of general mindfulness, and it's as frequently as possible. Not in a way that causes you, distress or that you start to obsess over, but if you're always paying attention, then you never feel too dysregulated.
Do you guys think, so when you're in your overthinking mode, right? So let's just say hypothetically, you have a great day at work, blah, blah. Then you go to like a dinner or you go to an event or something, and you go home and you've decided, oh my God, those people they were treating me weird. Like, they were being weird. They were looking at me weird. Like, I know they were talking shit about me. I think, are they mad at me? Did I say something? No, I would never say anything about them. But then would someone tell them I was saying something about them, which I obviously wasn't, and they're liars? I mean, these are the things that go on in my mind. How often should you, and this might not be your expertise, but how often, this might be like a psychiatrist, I just got to, get some medication or something. But how often should you quiet that? And then how often should you be like, no, I'm going to be direct and actually address it. I'm actually going to write that person and say, hey, I felt like you were being a little off. Did I read into that?
That's a really good question. Well,
thanks, guys. It was my question.
Well, first of all, your mental health is a product of what you pay attention to, not even what's happening in your external environment. So to that end, you really do want to be conscious about what you're filling your mind with. And you can choose actually not to do that exploration. I'm going to talk about what to do if there's like actual evidence there's a support that you should confront it.
Sure.
But the point here is that you want to ask yourself not what can I objectively prove, but what's effective for me to believe. And so I like to get in the habit of, I left that dinner, it was great. I don't need to sort of analyze and scan and try and prove something, because that's what the overthinking is. It's trying to like prove a fact that doesn't really have an answer. I think it was Lori Gottlieb who said it's getting on a rocking chair, exerting a lot of movement, but you don't get anywhere. So by choosing, yeah, it's such a good one. But by choosing,
Oh, wait, say that. Wait, say that one more time.
She says, worry is like a rocking chair. You exert a lot of movement, but you don't really get anywhere. And so if you choose to partake in overthinking, that's what your mental health will reflect. But if you say, I can't prove for certain what they're thinking, but I'm just going to choose not to think about it, then you'll feel better. I would recommend, though, the next day, if you're still having this feeling once sort of the emotions have calmed down and you're in a more regulated state, if there is something there that feels rooted in evidence or is a pattern or something that is like a recurring sentiment when you're with someone, and you think that you're close enough with this person where it's worth confronting them about it because it would be unhealthy to hold this in your mind and try to shut the relationship anyway, then I would bring that up and just say, hey, I've been feeling this way lately. Is it me? Is there something that, I'm not aware of? I would love to work through it. But I think in most instances, as we all do this, obsess after an event or a gathering, because I think we're hardwired similarly, I would actually choose not to engage with those thoughts and just move forward.
I usually kind of go like, well, fuck that person. Like, I didn't like them anyway. That's usually
another approach.
I'm sure Stevie's going to say that's the right way to handle it.
Well, that's actually, I do want to say a point about that. With women too, we do tend to, when we feel insecure, sort of judge each other and gossip about each other and do that like post-mortem after a group event. And I don't think people are realizing how insecure that's actually making you. Because back to like the two sides of judgment, if you're sitting there gossiping about your friends, then you kind of assume they're doing it too. And then you feel more of a need to double down on what you think they did to feel more justified in it. So again, just stop that process completely and you'll feel more confident.
The post-mortem after a party or event is genius. Did you coin that? Because I've never heard that. And that is, there's nothing better than sitting around on the 4-way FaceTime or whatever, doing the postmortem on the birthday, on the vacation, on the bachelorette. Whoa.
Yeah.
So let's just maybe like don't do that.
Yeah.
Because
but it's interesting because it's like it makes you feel better in the moment to like judge everyone.
Well, you guys, you want to know something? I've really evolved. Clearly, Josh is a really good life coach because guess what? I don't feel good talking shit about people. It makes me feel bad. I've reached the point, it used to make me feel good. I have reached a point, even people that I think are huge assholes, like huge assholes, I don't feel good about myself. Like I feel bad. If I say something about someone I don't even like, I don't even want them near me or in my life, I feel nasty even. So like, guys, you're
Sara,
speaking to someone who's really very evolved. Me.
This is great. Okay, wait. I literally was about to ask a question for myself, but this question is basically in line with it. So the question is about social anxiety. It's I want to be more social, but when I'm out, I just want to be at home. What is the cause of this and what can I do about it? And so I want to give my own little caveat to that as well. I think I used to not have social anxiety. I used to, in some ways, I weirdly like blame my husband, and I haven't really said this out loud, but Simon became my safe person in my life. And I started having more social anxiety when I had a safe person, because it always made me feel like if he wasn't there, then I was somehow like left, like unable to make a conversation happen for myself. And it makes me feel like when he is there, that I lean on him to be the one that can talk to anybody, they'll be the one that's always relaxed. And it's almost made me feel more insecure than I ever was before, because I don't have as much faith in myself to carry on a conversation. Like I don't remember having this when I was single. I used to go to parties by myself and I could get through it. And now I really struggle socially. I panic at the idea of sitting next to someone I have to make small talk with.
I really relate to that in a lot of different ways, both having the crutch, but just a real disdain for small talk and what I call mingle sessions, where you just kind of hop around from person to person doing small talk. But so what I would say to you is, I would get more curious. What is the story you're telling yourself about these events? For me, it is feeling some sort of pressure to perform in a certain way, or I've told myself some story about how it's going to feel. And usually the story is inaccurate. Usually I leave and I'm like, oh, that was better than expected. But it's some narrative that is running through my head that I have to sort of challenge. So for you, what's the story you tell yourself about these different events that makes you anxious?
I have a hard time in the moment when someone wants to talk to me and catch up. I have a really hard time like being curious about them because I'm so stuck being anxious about making sure that what I'm saying is interesting or continuing the conversation. And I not that I'm wondering like bigger, better deal somewhere else in the room, but I kind of find myself being very distracted. Like, is this the person I want to be spending my time talking to? I feel stuck, or and then I go to the next person and I feel the same way. It's like, I just want to be with what's familiar. I want to sit in between two people I already know, and I don't want to be put on the spot.
So what I would say to that is there's like a little bit of performance anxiety there. And when it comes to these types of social gatherings, I think we all want to be charming. That's sort of the goal. And I read somewhere along the line that charm is defined as a mix of competence and warmth. And when you break it down in that way, I think it kind of makes it a lot more attainable, right? Like, you are a warm person. I've experienced that. And you're certainly confident. So you don't need to...
I don't know. She's not that warm. I don't know that you know her. I don't know that that's how people would describe her.
Okay, I'm not making it a warm experience. But what we mean by warm is just sort of like, you just have to smile, right? Like, it's not, you don't have to bring out any bells and whistles. You just have to be warm and confident. Like, and I think we overcomplicate.
She is confident. Or
competent, like a confident. Competent, like demonstrating competence. Just basically meaning you don't have to try so hard to be charming. I think you just sort of exist. And this is
no, but hold on. You're saying something that is, I all jokes aside, this is super real. And I do think that it has to be connected because I suffer also from this. And I think it's like, for me, I'm similar. And I think I can break it down to, I want to leave a good impression. Like, I want people to like me. But I don't want to have to put in that much effort to be liked. I don't know. I mean, because I struggle. I mean, Erin, I think it's pretty universal. A lot of people don't love small talk, right? I mean, a lot of people.
But because I hate small talk, I overshare and I go to something crazy and I find something really intense to bring up. And because I'm like, well, now I'm going to force us talking about something real. And so I'll bring up something that I'll regret saying later, just so that I'm not surface.
Well, you know what I do now when people are like, how are you? I'm like, not great.
Yeah.
You guys, I do that now. And then they're kind of just like, okay. And then they just like don't want to keep talking to me because nobody actually wants to stand.
Oh, someone's calling me. I'm so sorry about that.
I did that at Baby to Baby the other night, like to multiple people. Hey girl, how are you? I go, not great. Not great. And then like a few stuck around to be like, oh, babe. But then a few of them were like, oh, and it's a great, it's interesting.
Great way to get people to stop talking to you.
I think you're onto
something. You will know because this is in my effort to also not be fake. That night I wasn't great. And I've just decided it's just funny. I don't know.
I think it's also to think about the spotlight effect because in these situations, I think we do also overestimate the impression we're making. Everyone's a star of their own show and everybody feels this way, that they are insecure about how they're coming across or that they don't want to engage in the small talk conversation. So I think you just have to recognize we're all in this together. And again, stop intellectualizing things and just get into your body in those moments instead.
Okay, this is interesting. And also what I now do is I used to think that the world revolved around me. I used to think that if I was
it honestly kind of used to.
Right. Okay. And I used to think that how my first impression was or something meant so much. And now I know no one gives a fuck. No one actually cares, about me, about anyone. Like they're so focused on themselves. Yes, for that minute, they want a good interaction or whatever, but no one's thinking about you when they walk away or they go home. Everyone's too consumed with their own shit. So that now that I'm so aware of that, I put less pressure on myself to be this thing that I think I have to be.
This podcast is sponsored by Cotton. I love the sound of that. I don't need to tell you guys about Cotton, even though I am going to. obviously owning a brand, we try to use cotton as much as possible because it's the most trusted textile, I would say, out there. You just know what you're going to get when it comes to cotton. There's a reason why every brand, every successful brand, it is what they use. It really is the fabric of our lives. It's natural. It comes from the earth, okay? It starts as a flower and it matures into a ball with a fluffy interior. And then it is spun into the soft fabric that we all know and love. We all have sensitive skin in my house. We've dealt with a lot of different skin issues. Cotton is the most gentle on your skin. It breathes, keeping you cool, even when it is very hot out. And it has been very hot lately. It's hypoallergenic. I mean, it was the only thing I put on my kids when they were little babies. It was like 100% cotton. That was all I did. Also, our sheets, right? The sheets that we sleep in, always 100% cotton. You know, when your sheets say 100% cotton, you know exactly what you're getting. Our towels, 100% cotton. Also, you know what I think you guys probably don't realize? Some of your favorite blue jeans, guess what they are? 100% cotton, which I had no idea until I got involved with Favorite Daughter, until we started Favorite Daughter. I had no idea about any of this. Cotton is durable. It's easy to wash and care for. It doesn't pill. All your cotton stuff, it stays fresh longer. It keeps its shape. All right, guys, check your tag for cotton. As I've said, it feels great to say cotton. It's the fabric of our lives. Learn more at thefabricofourlives.com.
Okay. As soon as I have gotten to know my child and how she operates, she changes. This seems to be consistent among most kids. Magnetic Me is very exciting because you wouldn't believe how often you have to change and get new pajamas. They grow like they have these growth spurts, or they grow 2 inches at a time. Okay. In one night, they'll have a growth spurt. So when pajamas fit one day, the next day they don't, which means you're buying them over and over again. Magnetic Me is a game changer. Okay. Noah is a psychopath when I try to change her. She like does flips and goes upside down. It's like, I'm like running around the room trying to chase her with her clothes. Magnetic Me is, parents, if you have not tried these, you need to get these easy to use magnetic pajamas. They have the easiest closures. They make getting dressed or getting undressed so much easier. And they make a huge difference. They have the cutest patterns and prints. They are really soft. They come in lots of different types of styles of pajamas. So no matter what your kid fits well into, you will find something for you. And they also make adult pajamas. So trust me, you need Magnetic Me to make changing time easier for you and the baby. And they have a Black Friday sale, special Black Friday sale starting November 21st. Get 25% off select styles. You can make these the perfect gift for the holidays. You can stock up for your own kids. No code needed. This is not going to last long. Go to magneticme.com. That's magneticme.com.
This is something that I also struggle with. How can we become more clear on who we are and what we actually want? I can't tell you how many times a therapist or a friend or someone has said to me, like, Sara, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, for so many years, just in life, right? In my career or as a mother or as a whatever. And I used to just be like, I literally don't know. Like, I literally don't know what I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to collect data points. You have to be okay with the not knowing phase. You sort of, like I said earlier, you do the best you can with the information you have. You pay attention to how different things make you feel. Once you have new information, you make different choices. But I think a lot of women get caught up on needing to know sort of the end result or the next goal or like the finish point that they're working towards. And I think and we're used to when we're younger, there is sort of a very like linear step to life. And then you get older and things take all different sorts of directions, and you kind of just have to be comfortable making the next step that's obvious in front of you, collecting data points from there, and then moving forward from there, and like taking it one step at a time.
Okay, but let's go through this.
Okay.
Like, collecting data points. So how does someone's going to be listening to this. They're going like, okay, cool. Yeah. Collecting data points. Like, what does that mean? How can someone sort of start, right? Like somebody who's listening to this going, yes, I relate. Like, I don't know what I want either. Do I want to stay in this marriage? Am I happy in this marriage? Am I happy in my job? Like, am I happy living in New York City? Whatever it is. Like, how do you even begin to tackle And what data are we talking about?
Well, let's pick a domain. So marriage, career,
Okay.
which one should we talk about?
Well, I don't know. A lot of people I think are kind of messed up on all of it. But like, okay, let's go career. Let's go career.
So collecting a data point would be, showing up to if you're currently employed, or if you're not, paying attention to clearly recognize if there's something in you that is unsatisfied. So that's a data point to pursue a job. But if you are working, slowing down and saying, okay, what do I like about this job? What are the parts of my day that light me up? What are the parts of the day that I dread? Who do I look to that I feel inspired by? Who do I look to and say, oh my God, I don't want to be anything like them? Like, it's, really breaking down all the different components of how you're spending your time, and then paying attention to what emotion each of those components elicits.
Do you guys think that you're supposed to get excited to get up and go to work? Like, is that something that everybody should strive for? Like we talk a lot about, excitement and how that's the thing, right? Like there's this thing that we've all experienced where we can't wait to get out of bed, where we look forward to Monday morning. I mean, maybe a lot of people haven't experienced that. I've experienced it, right? Like truly Monday, my favorite day. I'm not there currently, but that's another story. I'm not
the expert here, but I think that you can find things like I get really excited to get up and like make coffee. Like that's just as far as I can get on the day. Like I get very excited to be well rested. I notice now if I go to sleep after 10:30, I have a completely different morning the next day.
Same.
If I go to sleep before 10:30, I wake up and I'm like, first off, I start off being proud of myself. You went to bed early last night and you feel good. And I'm already like, okay, I'm already starting winning. And then I'm excited to make coffee. I haven't even gotten yet to like what the rest of the day is, but that helps me.
Do you look at your phone right when you wake up?
First of all, the 10:30 thing, that's a perfect data point. But here's another data point. I obviously do, but I have observed that when I don't, my day starts better. So I obviously default to it at times, but I do know that that's one thing I'm clear on, that it would start better if I avoided it.
But that's a great point, Erin. Like, we can all do this. I mean, we can all do things as simple as controlling. I mean, I guess some people can't control when they go to bed. Some people work multiple jobs. Your kids, you don't have help. Some people can't probably control exactly what time they go to bed. Sadly, in this country, people are working like 4 jobs. But like, that is something that if you do have the luxury of being able to go to bed early, you can control that, and see what that does. Most of us can luckily wake up, make a tea, make a coffee, little things like that, right? To start your day off. When you start your day off well, and with that little bit of excitement, I do think that there is a snowball effect, right? Like we all know how when something bad happens and a million other bad things happen, it's the same thing with when good things happen.
Absolutely. But to your question about should we be excited to wake up for work, I think that's sort of the piece of the whole operating manual on that. Some people genuinely are because work is a big priority or a big motivator to them. But other people aren't as motivated by work, and they feel such judgment and self-criticism because they don't feel the way that the person next to them does. And so that's also a lot of this work of getting true. Like, do you think you need to be passionate about work because you've been told that? Or are you just happy getting your paycheck and going home and spending time with your family? Like, it doesn't always have to mean to you what it means to other people. And I think feeling like it does is what causes so much suffering.
I think that's great advice.
That is really good advice.
I have a question. Do you think that it helps to say how you're feeling in terms of, let's just say, social anxiety? Do you think it helps or hurts if somebody says, how are you? And you go, not great. Or how are you? And you say, I'm honestly having social anxiety right now.
Oh,
do you
please
think
don't say that.
Helps?
Please don't say that.
Well, because I say it all the time and people go, oh
No,
my God, me
it's
too.
so
I feel
awkward.
like I don't know what to say. And I can't tell if it's helping or if it's almost like snowballing it.
I think it depends on the context, but I'm a big fan of leading with vulnerability and also breaking through that just very sterile, cold small talk and just being real. I think that if small talk and like mingle sessions for me is what bothers me, then the antidote to that is to create an environment or to show up in a way that elicits a more deep or intimate connection.
No, but Erin, what happens if like you start practicing a different mindset of going, I love being social. I live for crowds. I live for conversation, and tell yourself a different story. You're the one always preaching to all of our listeners about don't put yourself in a box. Don't keep saying, I hate this. I don't like this. Hello, like practice what you preach.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Fine, I'll do it.
Thank you. Okay, but I don't know if we should move on yet on how to become more clear on who you are and what you want actually. Do we think we're ready to move on? Because I do feel like a lot of people are really struggling with this. I mean, people who have a real sense of self are really like, well, who am I? You know, who I don't know what I want in my life anymore. And I got to imagine that social media has played a big role in people and their identity. People, it's got to just be huge.
Definitely. So again, paying attention to how you feel when you're scrolling and what activates you and what's making you jealous and what are you judging? Because I do think that that is what's ultimately going to be your best information. Like what is eliciting a strong response is probably something that you need to move towards or explore. And again, being comfortable with the not knowing. Like that's also okay. This is sort of the point of life. It is the endless self-discovery and being in the in-between as you're transitioning and growing and experiencing new things. So it's also okay to not know exactly who you are, exactly what your purpose is. I think that's another thing that gets problematic is feeling like you have to have that kind of clarity at all times.
Yeah, I was going to say that feels like a lot of pressure that you like have to know exactly who you are. I don't even know what that means. I mean, the person you are changes all the time. And I feel like it's a lot of pressure to be able to know that.
Did we talk about burnout, you guys?
Mm-mm.
Should we talk about burnout at all? Like little tips, things to do for stress burnout?
Yeah, so knowing your vulnerabilities, knowing your chain of events that leads up to burnout, maybe taking a data point from when you were last burnt out. What was that? Is it because, and I see this actually a lot with women I treat, typically the biggest cause of burnout is overscheduling. It's we want to keep our kids busy. We want to we feel like we have to do maintenance in all these relationships, and we overschedule. And a lot of I actually think this is really important information. A lot of young couples, because I also do couples work as well, their biggest issue is that they haven't carved out time to spend time with just themselves and the nuclear family they've created. They have all of these external forces, whether it's extended family members, friends, events, a social life that get in the way, and then they get out of sync with one another and they all kind of feel dysregulated. And the intervention is very simple. It's actually slowing down and getting on the same page and having space in your calendar with no plans, where you just kind of tune out everybody and get really insular with each other.
Well, that makes so much sense because that's if you're never allowing yourself space in your mind and brain to think things through or think about anything, the second you get a brain break, you panic and all of it floods.
Is that the catastrophizing? Is that why I catastrophize everything?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's why the more space you have, then the more you have the luxury of asking, how do I feel? How do I want to feel? What do I need to do to feel that way? And then you actually have the time in your schedule to implement the things you need to do to feel better. And then you do that for your kids as well, because your kids have their own formula and your partner has their own formula.
Isn't there something is there like a word or like a thing you're supposed to, like a mantra for your mind, but not a mantra, more like a visual mantra that you can go to when you're like, that 3 a.m., like, I'm going to be broke. I'm going to be broke. I'm going to have to get on OnlyFans.
So I would label those as my 3 a.m. thoughts. No, but going back to your mind is a conveyor belt and there's all these thoughts coming down in boxes. Now you know this about yourself. Now you know at 3 a.m. I'm prone to overthinking. So the minute your mind starts firing off, you put it in that's that box. This is the middle of the night box. I don't need to open this. The more I open it, the more I signal to my brain that I need to open it. The louder the thoughts become and the harder it is to quiet.
Yeah. That is what I learned, Sara.
I'm a sex worker.
In DBT, I really did learn that, don't be so afraid of the thought that comes in. So when the thought comes in, I'm going to be broke. And then you go, oh God, I'm thinking about being broke. Oh God, this is going to stress me out. Now I'm not going to sleep. And it's true. And it's like, okay, so I'm thinking that I want to be broke. Let it sit there. Don't run from it. The more you run from it, it chases you. And then just be like, okay, now I'm going to go to sleep. It's really helped me with that don't be so afraid of your thoughts. Your thoughts are not facts, like you said. And your thoughts can't make you do anything. And they aren't psychic thoughts. They're just thoughts. And we attach too much to them.
Now I go at 3 a.m. I just go well, I have a rich sister. I have a rich sister.
Thank God for that.
Also very soothing.
Yeah. Well, Stevie, this has been very helpful. And I think that these tools are really very helpful. And this is exactly the kind of stuff that our listeners ask for us to talk about. And I feel more relaxed, honestly, than I was when I started this.
Same.
You do?
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And also it's important for people to know that you are a licensed practicing therapist that people can work with.
We will give you your glowing
Thank you so
intro
much. This was so great.
when you're not here.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time.